Hello, I'm Tiki King, drummer for the band The Wicked Tinkers.
I'm Maggie. I am agent manager for the Wicked Tinkers. I'm also married to Tiki King.
And this is our show, Stalking in Circles, where we explore a very bizarre case of a stalker, but not just a stalker, someone who exhibits textbook symptoms of a specific type of stalking called erotomania.
"41-year-old Margaret Ray arrested 7 times for trespassing on David Letterman's property.
John Hinckley Jr., and he changed the course of U.S. history in 1981 when he shot and wounded the president and 3 other people outside a Washington, D.C. hotel.
In the last episode, we had just gotten started with Maggie's first contact with this person, who we call Kris. Names have been changed to protect the innocent or the guilty. So we're going to be playing some more voicemails, emails, etc. that illustrate how the stalker's relationship with Maggie began and how it deteriorated quickly.
So we heard last time, the last episode and the episode before that, a specific voicemail from Kris that was passionate and emotional. We're going to a time slightly before I got that voicemail. After all the things that happened on our last show, as she continued to email Aaron, even though I had asked her not to, I sent her this email. "Kris, I heard your 3 voice messages. I will need you to respond to me via email. As I said, we can still resolve this matter. In regard to the dance-off, CJ had told you and Kelso the band doesn't do contests like that. He told you they weren't interested in the dance-off you wanted to do. You did not listen or take him seriously, but the band doesn't do contests with people regarding their playing at festivals. They are hired to do a specific thing which does not include contests with patrons. In regard to the photograph of you with the band, you asked the band to take a photograph with you right after they went to get beers. You asked me where they were, and I told you they went to get beer. Then they took the photo with you. You asked them to get in your photo when they already were holding beers in their hand. They often have beers in their hand when they get photos taken. In literally thousands of photographs of them with fans, they are holding beer or other alcohol. Not all the time, but it happens frequently. No way were they trying to slight you. That never crossed their minds. But remember back to what happened. They were drinking beer in the beer tent area when you asked for a photo. Even so, they are very sorry you thought they were doing something to upset you. They would never intentionally do something to hurt a fan. They do apologize for the fact you felt upset. They are simply so used to getting photos taken with beers in hand, it wouldn't have seemed any different to them. Now on to more important issues. Aaron hasn't been able to send out any mail for quite a while with that email address, but he should not be responding to inappropriate comments anyway. The reason Aaron hasn't contacted you back at all is you've said some extremely inappropriate things to him. Things that had nothing to do with the dance challenge you wanted to do. Things that had nothing to do with the photograph. I know what those things were, so please don't act like you don't know what I'm referring to. Did you just expect him to get on a plane and fly back to Washington after driving 14 hours to get back home only days before to meet you for your birthday? I am perplexed as to why you believe this was even an option. First, logistically, it would have been ridiculous. And he doesn't do things like that for fans, but most importantly, after your extremely inappropriate sexual comments to Aaron, he definitely doesn't want or need to respond to you. As I said to you before, he is happily married, not interested in any other type of relationship. I already asked you not to send Aaron anything further, but he has informed me you did. Please do not bother Aaron or CJ or any other band members. All communication needs to come through me. If it doesn't, I will take further action. We can still work this out, but you need to respond to me, and only me, via email. I know you can email, as I have seen the emails you've sent to Aaron. Again, do not contact the band. Contact me until this is resolved. Maggie." That was my second email to Kris.
which is pretty straightforward. I mean, it doesn't leave any room for interpretation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And once again, the tone was firm but cordial. It was, saying, hey, this has nothing to do with you. There's a misunderstanding. Let's drop it. And always, we'd like to point out that we are not attempting to diagnose, treat, or recommend treatment for any sort of disease or ailments. These are our opinions. The things that we say are our opinions and our opinions alone. Maybe you agree with them, maybe you don't. But this show is simply to illustrate what has been going on with us for the past several years.
And we're going to play some artist renderings of some emails, and then we'll play a couple more voicemails for you. I also want to say we're not making light of this situation or this disorder. This is simply an educational series. We're trying to present our own personal experiences with this matter. We did look for other people's experiences with similar things when it started happening to us, and it was difficult to find this sort of thing to this degree.
And that's one of the things that makes this particularly interesting, is that not only is this sort of a rare phenomenon, a rare condition, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but that this particular instance covers all the bases. There's usually, with any sort of description of like stalking, erotomania, or any sort of thing like that, they give you a checklist of does this happen, does this happen, does this happen, and they get this whole list, and they say if they're doing, say, 4 of the 6 of those things, or 3 of the 5, or there's like, so far our stalker has hit every one of them that we've found about this.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that's maybe close is that she has met us. She has, as brief as it was, a lot of times erotomania manifests itself with people who've never actually even met.
We will play some artist renderings of emails right now. This one was from October 14th.
Hi, Maggie. I sent an email to Aaron prior to reading your email. I will respond to you, Maggie. I do apologize for any inappropriate things I said and done. I need time to think, and I will get back to you soon. Thank you, Kris.
So there, and interesting, although that's very brief, she does acknowledge that what she's doing is inappropriate. It's interesting as far as what's to come after these.
Okay, so this is a fairly long email. This was on October 15th.
Hi, Maggie. I have been working on this email since yesterday and today. I was going to take a break, then got your email, so I am going to get this done as it is very important. No, I am not doing well. I'm so lonely. Warning, this, a long email, and is from my heart to you. If there is anything repeated, sorry about that. I do want to make things right and not have Aaron or CJ angry or hate me. I do hope they are doing well, entertaining their fans there in Utah. They were there on my birthday yesterday, and I can't be there. That totally breaks my heart, but I have to endure it. I have no choice. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak with you. I do understand I can only communicate with you and leave the wicked tinkers alone, especially Aaron and CJ. I will not reach out to them until I have permission to do so, and whatever is said stays here and goes no further than this. This also includes if and when they allow me to see them at the Scottish Highland Games next year. Total bummer I have to wait, as we old fans have to. This is my promise to you. I want so badly to regain their trust and be on good terms with Aaron and CJ again. Yes, I do want to get this resolved too, more than anything in this world. They didn't hurt me or do anything wrong. I am the one who self-sabotaged everything, but I do feel all of you do care about me, or you wouldn't be taking your valuable time to reach out to me. I sincerely appreciate that from you. This does mean so much to me, more than you could ever imagine.
Go ahead.
So there she acknowledges once again that she's in the wrong, and that it sounds like when we got those, we were sort of going, oh, okay, well, maybe she's understanding now. It's interesting because, yeah, she once again says, that it was her fault, that we didn't do anything wrong, that it was her misunderstanding, basically, that she promises that she won't attempt to contact us except through Maggie, which was well, she said, if you have anything to send to the band, send it to me. I'll make sure they get it. That's how bands work generally. Is you don't, even if you think you're emailing the artist directly, you're generally emailing their management, and their management forwards it on just to maintain a little bit of privacy in case of situations like this. It's one of those things where that's the buffer. The management is usually the buffer between the fans, just to try and assure that these things don't happen.
And in this case, there wasn't any buffer, and she emailed Aaron directly, and I became the buffer so that Aaron wouldn't have to deal with it. So here's the next part of the same email.
Yesterday was my birthday, and it was the worst ever because I feel so bad about all this that I caused, and how stupid of me to think Aaron and CJ would travel to Washington for anything. I have to open my eyes and realize the facts of this whole situation. I am stuck at home, and it is so easy to get stuck in my own head and not see things as they really truly are. I am so very sorry, and I can't even imagine what Aaron and CJ think of me. I do not want Aaron or CJ to hate me, because I sure hate myself right now. They are in Utah, and that started on my birthday. If I could, I would be there now, but I can't. I am in tears right now because I would travel to the ends of the world to see them. I am their biggest fan. I feel talking to another woman would be so very helpful and healing for me. This A is a long email, and I am pouring my heart out to you. In the lower portion, I share some hardships I had to endure, and I'm still dealing with it to help you understand where I am at. This is something I would like for you to share with Aaron and CJ. I do feel Aaron and CJ do care about me, and it is so good to see them because they make me laugh and smile. Believe it or not, they are like gods to me as they stand so tall as in the photograph in McMinnville, Oregon. I do sincerely apologize for the very bad, inappropriate, unacceptable letter I sent to Aaron. This also includes the bad emails afterwards, too. At the event, Aaron did ask me to send him a letter requesting for a copy of the Rant CD since they were sold out, and it still shows that on the website, sold out. I know he said he would find a copy for me. I am pretty upset with myself for losing my copy of the Rant CD on the way to Kelso. It is just that I can't afford to pay the 4 CD. It is not fair to ask Aaron to give it to me free.
There's a couple interesting things there. She sounds relatively reasonable as far as seeming to understand that what she's doing is inappropriate. Which she's said this several times, and I know this is sort of like, picking at things, but she says, Aaron asked me to send him a letter. Aaron didn't ask her to send him a letter. What he probably said was, we're sold out. Maybe I have one at home. I'm not sure. Send me an email. Which that happens all the time. If we have some merchandise that we don't have at the time, or if it's something special order or whatnot, we'll tell people, hey, send us an email.
Or just go ahead and contact us.
Yeah. But I find it interesting that when she often refers to that as Aaron requested that she send him a letter. I don't know why, but that always that to me is maybe her subliminal thinking that he wants her to write to him, not, hey, send me an email, see if I have any CDs around,
And here she's mentioning also the Rant CD, how she lost it on her way to Kelso when
I believe she already admitted that she destroyed it.
She previously said she destroyed it. She also said she lost it, but it keeps changing what happened to the CD. Clearly she doesn't know what happened to it.
The money that they get helps to pay a lot of things, including gas for their van, as they go to different places they are booked to go to. I don't want to go into all the hardships and losses I have endured since October 2019 because it is hard to relive it all. I do have to deal with it and get my butt in gear and get things done. I can tell you, I lost my sister-in-law who I had plans to work for again as her caregiver. She filled out all the paperwork and was so nice to her. There was a hearing, but the judge was already had her mind twisted listening to fabricated information. I read the appeal hearing docket. They had no intentions of letting me work for a family member. They were so nice to her. It made me feel so optimistic. But in the end, they hurt her so badly, and they knew she had a bad heart. They denied her right to have me as a caregiver. It took its toll on her, and she died on May. My sister-in-law was denied to have me, her family member, work for her. She lived alone, confined to a wheelchair, and did trust other people to work for her because they stole from her. My husband, I were the only people she had. The state of Washington, as it was, people in need, and they were not for my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law neglected and abandoned and totally... I keep putting off dealing with this, and I do need to because all those feelings came back after seeing the photograph. I do need to file a major complaint in against those who are responsible for her death. I have not dealt with this properly and need to immediately because lashing out at Aaron was so very wrong.
Once again, they're acknowledging that it was wrong to lash out. Although, I mean, I don't feel like she's lashed out at him so much as she does in the future.
Yeah.
But she obviously is having this roller coaster of sort of guilt and justification, and bringing up her past and the terrible things that have happened to her as sort of a, this is why I'm doing these things, to justify it. It illustrates that somewhere in her mind she knows that what she's doing is not right, in my opinion.
At this point, I think she still had some little bit of reality in it, but it changes quickly.
The Wicked Tinkers did something very special for me that day, McMinnville, Oregon. Since I was in so much pain with my arm, I knew I had to get better before seeing the Wicked Tinkers again. Had no intentions of dancing there, but when I saw Brother performing, it brought back a lot of great memories of Enumcall, as there was an open field there, just like in McMinnville, Oregon. I was doing so much better with my arm, and it felt so fantastic to get up and dance to Brother, and the Wicked Tinkers were there. I feel so great. The sun was setting, and the cool breeze on my raised arms. That took a lot of effort to work on with my physical therapy. Once Brother was done with that set, Wicked Tinkers was on. I didn't realize what was going on behind me. Once I turned around, I noticed all these people sitting in chairs were watching me dance. It made me feel like I belonged to something so precious as each member of Wicked Tinkers, Aaron. CJ and Tiki are worth their weight in gold. I have always felt like an outsider in my life with different painful experiences, including when I broke my arm feeling so isolated, and my husband does a better job being a caregiver for his own client than he is with his own wife, me. I do need to get my driver's license and get back to work again as a caregiver and get out of this damn rut I am in. That day in McMinnville, Oregon, I took my shoes off. My pantyhose were torn from my feet, contacting the ground. CJ was playing the drum, and I was dancing next to H&M. It was such a beautiful day I did not want it to end. I was dancing with that tall man. I remember I had to go potty. I could hear Wicked Tinkers sing Cat very loudly, and there was a drum roll type sound from the band. I ran out trying to be careful not bump into the people, and I did get a lot of compliments on my dancing. I was dancing with a steel-plated corset cinched up tight, but I wanted to show Aaron and CJ I can endure anything. I truly felt so happy after months of feeling so depressed with no love or support from my husband ever. I felt loved by the people sitting there and by the best band I have had the utmost pleasure of listening to and being with Wicked Tinkers. I started to get exhausted and could not dance any longer. The Wicked Tinkers wore me out. Then the band finished, and I thought in my own mind they changed their minds, and I started laughing, thinking Aaron, CJ, and Tiki changed their mind about the dance-off. So in my mind, my thoughts were, I owe them a beer. I didn't realize that there was a place right close by. I felt that Aaron, CJ, and Tiki didn't care because I was chasing them down, trying to get their attention, and felt they intentionally hurting me, just like I am hurt by what happened to my sister-in-law. One minute they made her feel special, and next minute she was ignored and abandoned. That is exactly how I felt with the Wicked Tinkers, but not now. That photograph makes me feel good because I think of Aaron. CJ and Tiki are raising their glasses of beer as to say, cheers, Kris. You did a great job, Dan CNG, and you made your audience happy. I love the Wicked Tinkers and always will.
There's a few things to unpack there. One is this idea that it was her audience.
It's very heavily revisited by her.
And that's the thing, she also in this one talks about how she knew we were going to get beer. And she also, interestingly, she talks about how great that photograph is and how happy it was to get that photograph, and or how happy she was to get that photograph. And when she looks at it, it makes her, remember this great time. You'll see that change coming up.
Well, and it was already changed before, too.
Yeah,
I mean, she already thought it was a joke, that you guys were playing a joke on her or making fun of her by holding up your beers.
Right, which in this one she changes the narrative to that we were holding up saying, cheers to your dancing. It plays into the narrative later.
So she did listen to my second email. You can tell in this email to me where she now understands that the beer picture wasn't a joke. That came from my email to her explaining it. I can't remember, and I'm not actually sure if she keeps believing that, because she flips back and forth so often. All right, back to the email.
I have now changed my view on the photograph that was, and realized, yes, they were having a beer since there was that place nearby, and they all do deserve to have a few drinks. I don't feel offended by it now, and I know in my heart they were not trying to hurt me.
While in Kelso, yes.
You are correct in saying that CJ did tell me in Kelso they don't do any kind of contest or anything to imply any such thing. He did tell me. It is all about having fun and enjoyed being there. I was in so much pain with my arm and shoulder from having a broken arm and going through physical therapy, but I didn't care. I wanted to see the Wicked Tinkers. I was so looking forward to going to Kelso on September 11th. You have no idea. This is how special the Wicked Tinkers are to me, as their biggest fan. I had tried to put a lining of green glitter just above my eyelashes, then some purple eyeshadow on. I was so anxious and flustered, I forgot to put in my contacts first, then do my makeup. I also put on a temporary tattoo that was to represent something tribal, since on the Wicked Tinkers website it says tribal Celtic sound. Explosion. We got out so late, and my husband, who I am not happy in my marriage for so many reasons such as age difference, he never laughs or jokes around, and one great big stick in the mud. He is always so serious, and he is so damn boring. I was trying so hard to make a great lasting impression for the Wicked Tinkers. It has been so many very long years since I saw Aaron, CJ, and Tiki. I was also putting on gold metallic butterflies, stars, etc. on the way to Kelso. That was the day I lost my rant CD, and I was so pissed off at myself for being so careless, because I looked for it, and it is not anywhere to be found while in Kelso. After their last set, Aaron did agree to take time to talk to me about dancing when they're on stage, but now I think about it, it is more of as a challenge for myself. To celebrate, I am going to work hard on my physical therapy and be free of pain. Aaron was talking to some fans as I waited patiently, and my shoulder and arm were hurting so bad. Kept waiting, and I was about to interrupt their conversation and say to Aaron, I will email him. Aaron put up his right thumb, and I felt that was an encouraging sign he would be with me in a moment. It is too bad for me to know Aaron is happily married, because when Aaron did come over to talk to me, he sat on the edge of the picnic bench and looked at me. Instantly, I fell in love with Aaron. I had trouble talking. I knew I had to see him again. I felt like I was a mess from getting blue ice cream all over me and had to wash everything off me. Aaron was just inches away from me, and I found it so hard to think of what I was trying to say due to how damn good looking Aaron looked. I am so very envious of his wife, because I wish I was his wife. I would move down to California and be with him. Oh, well, that dream is shot to hell. I will have to just accept, because I can't change his life. I am miserable in my own marriage. Everyone is in good relationships like you are with Tiki. Both Aaron and CJ are spoken for. While taking to Aaron, my so-called husband, had his back turned away from Aaron and I. I found Liz prefers to listen to another Scottish singer who is good, Colin Grant Adam, who we met in Enumclaw. No, yesterday was my Euro birthday, and it was the absolute worst birthday I ever had, because I feel I lost my all-time, mind-blowing, electrifying, loud as I love and can be, it out of this universe, sensational, spectacular beyond words, to really describe my feelings as the biggest diehard fan who had traveled the distance on foot to go see the Wicked Tinkers, carrying a large sign reading Wicked Tinkers with their faces and names and where I'm at and where I am going to see that, even to risk my own health, to go hear the Wicked Tinkers where they travel. And as you I am addicted to them, and I cannot get enough of seeing them or hearing them, and to experience just being in their presence, as they are a great big warm sunshine on a beautiful day. My plan is to do a beautiful drawing or painting of the Wicked Tinkers and show it to them, or not now, but later email them with how Wicked Tinkers makes me feel, as I am totally hooked on them. I will wait, but I can still work on it, including another face tattoo. Again, I will say I will not contact anyone until I hear back from you. I hope and pray they can forgive me. May I please get a copy of the Rant CD? Please, please. I keep checking the website and it is still sold out. May I please have a copy of Big Bottle of Bad Ideas? Please, please. Oh, by the way, I'm keeping the t-shirt, even though it's for a man. I don't care. It is mine. I will keep them safe and not damage or lose them. I promise, Aaron. As I promised, this all is between us and it goes no further. Best wishes from your biggest fan, Kris.
So she acknowledges in this segment that Aaron is married, which is important to note.
I think this is the first time we hear about the thumbs up, which also becomes important later. I believe she was correct in thinking that, because I remember he was talking to someone and she was sort of milling about trying to get his attention, and if I remember correctly, just went like, just a second, But it's interesting that he gave her the thumbs up, which again, that becomes an important thing later.
Yeah. Okay, here is the next email from Kris to me. October 15th still.
Hello, Maggie. Here is my mailing address redacted. In my very lengthy email I sent earlier, if there are any questions you would like to ask me, let me know. I will now have to shut my feelings for Aaron totally off. That also includes telling him I love him. I don't want to cause any problems. There is definitely a shift within me, like some distance. I have a lot of good memories, but that has changed as well. Aaron is the richest man I know, and do you know, what you give out, you get back twice as much. I have so much respect for Aaron, CJ, and Tiki, and I need to show that. It felt so good to dance again and get the best photograph ever. I did explain that in my lengthy email I sent to you earlier today. Hey, Scottish men love their beer. I don't. Never have. I do love Scottish men. That won't change. I can't deny it. I am hooked and addicted to the Wicked Tinkers music. They are very talented men. Email me anytime. Please tell Aaron and CJ I am sorry for creating any problems. Thank you for reaching out to me. Okay, I need to move on in my own life. I will wait to hear back from you. I also need to stop looking at the website. Take care, Kris.
She is correct. We do like beer.
So here she makes it clear that she is continually checking things on the website.
Well, she's definitely monitoring us as far as the website goes, because this isn't the last time that she talks about changes to the website, even if they're minor changes. I'm the webmaster for the band, so I noticed that every time I would put something up, change the schedule, change something on the album list, etc., she would mention it in one of her emails.
Well, she's been checking to see if the Rant CD is available, and it's still not available.
No, it was
because
sold out.
There's no more copies of it, so we had not made more copies of it. Still have not made more copies of it.
Because of that, we ended up having to take all of our contact. We used to have all of our contact information up there in case people wanted to talk with us or wanted to send us an email about playing somewhere, or we all have our own things that we do. I make tikis, CJ makes knives, Aaron gives lessons. We thought it was important to have that information up there so that people could contact us. And as this began happening, we started basically taking everything off so that everything had to go through Maggie, just because it was a little unnerving.